you some, I hate you some, I love you some. Oh, I love you when I forget about me. I wanna be strong, I wanna live alone, I wanna belong to the living. Alive, alive, I wanna get up and drive, wanna wreck my stockings in some jukebox dive. Do you want, do you want, do you wanna dance with me, baby? Do you wanna take a chance on maybe finding some sweet romance with me, baby? Well, come on. All I really, really want our love to do is to bring out the best in me and in you too. All I really, really want our love to do is to bring out the best in me and in you. I wanna talk to you, I wanna shampoo you, wanna renew you again and again. Applause, applause, life is our cause. When I think of your kisses, my mind seesaws. Do you see, do you see, do you see how you hurt me, baby? So I hurt you too. Then we both.
Thank you, Joni Mitchell, for bringing us in. We're here in Chicago. We welcome all sisters and brothers, all family and friends, our neighbors, the citizens of the world, to another edition of Live from the Heartland. This is edition number 58 of the Heartland at Home series, which we've been doing since the pandemic began. And today, for the week of June 26, we are welcoming Gordon Thompson, a longtime track coach and teacher, and our sports reporter, talking about the Olympics and all things sports. And we also are welcoming from the Chicago Public Art Group, Chantal, Healey, and artist Damon Lamarr Reed on a newly computed mural in Bronzeville. So good morning to you, Katie Hogan. How about something good that's going on in your life?
Well, I was reminded this week from a friend that 50 years ago, two female artists, kind of important to us at the time, released two albums that became huge sellers and kind of the album anthems of some of us for that era. They were the Joni Mitchell Blue album that you just heard All I Want from, and the Carole King Tapestry album. So we're just gonna feature those two artists today and invite you to do yourself a favor and listen to the whole album, because we all knew every word to those songs. Happy to remember that. What about you? Any good news for you this week?
The good news follows some bad news. Last Sunday, when I was deciding whether or not to set up my front porch gallery, I wasn't going to do it, and then I went for it, and I took a bad tumble down the stairs. I've had x-rays, I'm getting some MRIs, but the good thing out of that is that I've had a lot of support from my sons Hal and Katie Ann, wife Paige, and my friend Gordon has shown up. He's going to be here on the show, and they've all been very helpful for me and kept me from further injuring my arm even more. And the best thing that's going to happen is later today, I pick up my daughter, Casey Blue, at the airport. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Can't wait to see her. All right, in news and views from across our purveying the landscape, we were a little horrified to read about the crackdown in China on Hong Kong, both artistically and politically. They're really doing increasingly harsh moves. They've their censorship of films in a place that was known for its strong film industry and liberalized artistic practices. They're turning that back. They have banned the remembrances, of course, of the Tiananmen Square massacre. They have messed with the Hong Kong's election system. This is not a good sign for that huge country for the future. And for all those folks in Hong Kong, we are thinking of you. Let's see, locally here in Illinois, we want to congratulate and thank the activists from the Eco Justice Collaborative, a grassroots environmental group led by former neighbors Jan and Lan Reichert. They've been hard at work with other allies in Southern Illinois for years, and they got good news this week that Dyne Energy, Midwest Generation, has agreed finally to begin plans for the removal of 3.3 million cubic yards of toxic coal ash generated by its Vermilion power station. This was one that was very, it was bad on the groundwater and the Vermilion River since the 1950s. So this is a huge step forward. And again, it's proof that actual activism and sticking with it works. Bless your heart.
On the labor front, this is just a heads up. The Cook County Hospital may be postponing surgeries, rescheduling appointments as it girds for a possible nurses' strike.
Also, I was happy to discover a group called Operation 147, which refers to the number of people sitting in Congress and Senate today who actually continue to foment and believe the big lie. We all know the big lie, right? That's pretending like the election was fraudulent, the election of the current president. The group calls itself the Operation 147, We're Not Forgetting, and it's terrific that they are reporting on, for example, this week, the Representative Gates, that young guy who's in a little bit of trouble about his habits with underage people in Florida, he had the gall to attack Army General Mark Miley in a congressional hearing this week. Miley didn't hold back in his response. The reason he was being attacked was that Gates thought that the military was being too woke, get this, because military leaders have studied critical race theory. Miley responded saying he was personally offended by the accusation, but he also emphasized that the military leadership was being well read was a pressing matter of national security. It's important that we train and understand what it is that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try and overturn the Constitution in January.
Miley commented that he had read Mao Zedong, he had read Che Guevara, but he was not a communist.
Right. I really enjoyed that. Plus, I'm happy that group exists because I couldn't be more dedicated to getting rid of those 147 elected officials.
Regular listeners to the show and viewers of our show know that we are very concerned about voter suppression. And it's a theme that we will be talking about because we need to turn out the vote in 2022. Just how Republican states are expanding their power over elections is something to be aware of. In Georgia, Republicans are removing Democrats of color from local boards. And in Arkansas, they have stripped election control from county authorities. And following up on that, there's a piece in the New York Times this week, if I can get it, by a Richard Pildes. And he says, with the For the People Act on indefinite hold after a filibuster by Republicans in the Senate, the Voting Rights Act is about to return to center stage in Washington. The Supreme Court will soon decide a case on how a crucial part of the landmark law applies to voting laws challenged as racially discriminatory. We're talking about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Both Manchin and Republican Murkowski have turned a spotlight on the Voting Rights Act with their endorsement of the Lewis Voting Rights Act. It would reaffirm Congress's central role in protecting the right to vote against racially discriminatory changes and give the Justice Department the critical power to approve changes that are illegitimate, and block those that are invidious. So basically the John Lewis Act may offer our best chance for some new legislation protecting Voting Rights Act. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted.
Yes, we will. And on the COVID front, just be aware that groups are ramping up efforts to get people and vaccines together. Don't be surprised to see Vaccine Brigade volunteers at public events, in front of stores, at soccer matches, offering to schedule vaccine appointments right then and there for folks. Really think about it. The reality of a less than vaccinated population come this fall is not one we want to see. Okay. So you are listening to Live from the Heartland on 88.7 Chicago Sound Alliance. We're going to come back with our first guest, but first we're going to play the song he asked us to play, which is Lakeshore Drive by Aliota Haynes and Jeremiah.
In my hometown, Lakeshore Drive, the road is called, and it'll take you up or down. From Rats on up to Riches, 15 minutes you can fly. Pretty blue lights along the way, help you right on by. And the blue lights shining with a heavenly grace, help you right on by. South on Lakeshore Drive, getting into town. Just slipping on by on LSD, Friday night trouble bound. And it starts up north from Hollywood, water on the driving side. Concrete mountains rearing up, throwing shadows just about 5. Sometimes you can smell the green if your mind is feeling fine. There ain't no finer place to be than running Lakeshore Drive. And there's no peace of mind the place you see riding on Lakeshore Drive. And there ain't no road just like it anywhere I found. Running south on Lakeshore Drive, getting into town.
Hey, and welcome back to Live from the Heartland. And now we're going to bring on our first guest, our longtime pal, our longtime friend, the sports reporter, the former track coach, Gordon Thompson, all the way from Newark, Delaware, here in Chicago for a short visit. And Gordon, we're going to ask you a lot of questions today about the Olympics and other sports things. So let's start off by saying hello to you, welcome, and hey, the Supreme Court has been busy lately. What's up with their decision this week on college athletes and the NC2A, the National Collegiate Athletic Association?
Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Katie. What do you know, Chicago? Good to be back in the town that was coach at Loyola University and DePaul, and a lot of friends and good folks here in Chicago, the great town. So Supreme Court made a ruling against the NC2A this year, but it was really relatively to this case, it's a small potatoes case. So it allowed the NC2A, or it forced the NC2A to give extra academic benefits to student athletes. So it really just allowed them to provide laptops and maybe go get an internships where they could get paid. So the NC2A has put a cap on how much money a student athlete could earn beyond their scholarship. So this is a big problem, in that really student athletes are not free and legal people. They are bound by their scholarship. So this opens up a door. This one ruling just says, yes, you can give extra academic benefits to your athletes. But what it sends is a clear message that NC2A, you got to clean your act up. You got to get into the modern times of being able to deal with student athletes, which they've been dealing in the 1950s era. So time for NC2A to get up and get going. And right in front of their face in 6 days, 6 states have legalized this name, image, and likeness law that Florida, basically the football schools in the South are going to enjoy. Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, those states have passed this name, image, and likeness law. So the NC2A is not ready for it. The state said, yes, athletes can gain money on their name or their image, their photograph, or their signature, or their likeness. Like the NBA logo is the likeness of Jerry West dribbling. It's not his picture, but you can tell it's Jerry West as a basketball fan dribbling around. So that is Jerry West's likeness. Did they ask for his permission? Probably not, but let's deal with the NC2A. So the likeness is something that they could be like their style of clothes, you know, that could be associated, their hairstyle, anything that could be labeled as what one's athlete would like. So, hey, you can now they can make money off of their name, their image, and their likeness, but the NC2A is not ready for this. They haven't said how much money you could make, or could you get a sponsorship, or could one college outbid another to garner the interest of a student athlete? So really it's quite a conundrum for the National Collegiate Athletic Association.
Well, we've been following for a long time the right of college athletes to be paid, and people who've been for that, and we will keep our listeners and watchers or viewers posted. Let's move on to the big events in the world coming on the sports scene, which would be the Olympics in Tokyo. What are you looking forward to? What do you have to share about what to expect, etc.?
Hey, here we are in 2021. This Olympics was supposed to go off last year, 2020. Japan put it on pause for a year, and it was up until just a couple of weeks whether they were going to be able to pull it off or not. So yes, the country of Japan has accepted it. And hey, guess what? There's no vaccines, or very little vaccines in the country of Japan. Under 5 or 10% of the population's been vaccinated. So they're worried about all of the world coming into Japan and bringing all the so-called little cooties germs, COVID germs, into that country. Hey, they could have something that's what has been termed the Godzilla variant, which would be predicted to Japan with a brand new variant inspired by all these foreigners coming to a small island. And who knows what that mix would be. So yes, the Olympic Games are going to go off. There's going to be fans, only Japanese fans are going to be there, to 50% of the capacity audience. And earlier in the year, funny that they said the audience could be there, but they couldn't cheer or yell. How the heck are you going to, yeah, that's an impossible thing to be in the stands and not being able to cheer. So obviously they covered that. So what are we looking forward to? Tell
us about, there's a new shot put record, and tell us a little bit about that. And are you looking forward to that person competing in Japan?
Big deal in the shot put record. It was a quantum leap in the shot put. Ryan Krauser threw the shot of 76 feet, 8 inches. That broke the old record by nearly 10 inches or over 10 inches. And the thing was, the old record was set by Randy Barnes, who everyone knew, and he was convicted of being roided up at the time. So this new world record is a clean world record, but what had to happen biomechanically was for Ryan Krauser to get into not just his own personal groove, but he had to hit the so-called sweet spot. Now think about when you guys played tennis. On that tennis racket has a small little area in the center of that racket that is the so-called sweet spot. That ball hits that and it launches off the racket. So it's the same thing in all technical sports and track and pretty much everything. If you hit your sweet spot, you're going to be able to really go. So that's exactly what Ryan did, Krauser did in the shot put. Had everything. He's a spinner, so there's a lot of positions that he's got to meet: power, poise, patience, and then putting it all together with all the right positions. That ball exploded out of his hand. He knew right away. As soon as it left his hand, he knew. He could feel it. It was in that sweet spot. He raised his arms in total accomplishment. It was a big deal. He's going to win the gold.
Yeah.
And
Gordon, I know we got a lot of Olympics to talk about, and maybe we'll continue this in another week, but let's keep going because we do have, we lost an Olympic hero this recently, Lee Evans. He's a progressive athlete. He was involved with Athletes United for Peace. Tell us a bit about him.
hey, Lee Evans was my childhood hero. I loved that guy. I can still remember his winning 400 time at 68 Olympics, 43:86. That time broke the world record by over a second. He was a street fighter. He wasn't a pretty sprinter. He ran like a slugger, kind of like what George Foreman. Just imagine George Foreman, or really any really boxer, just trying to go up a home stretch, just fighting every stride, painful, just duking it out with themselves. I loved Lee Evans, and he had a social consciousness. We lost a great one.
Just a couple things that we have mentioned in the past, recent past. The situation for transgender athletes participating in sports has been in the news. Where's that at? Briefly, how do you think it's going? Where is it going to go next?
Hey, nobody can tell where it's going to go next. It's in transition, just like the people themselves, allowing transgender athletes participate in both state competition and in international competition at the Olympic Games is it's not an easy deal. Here's the deal. New Zealand just qualified their first transgender athlete, a weightlifter in the super heavyweight division. A male transitioned to a female. She qualified for the New Zealand Olympic team, and she has got all the things necessarily. So to compete in the IOC, you have to have a proper testosterone ratio. So she obviously is getting therapy, hormone therapy. So she conformed under the testosterone ratio. We had a USA athlete in our own Olympic trials that tried the same thing to compete in the 400 hurdles, but was denied entry because from the 400 to the mile, you are required to have this testosterone ratio. And this particular woman hurdler did not meet that criteria, so she was eliminated for participating.
Wasn't there someone in history, in our history, that was a transgender athlete in the Olympics?
Yeah, there's a lot of history of people with more than one sex organ competing at the Olympic Games. And here we have in America a Polish athlete that competed for Poland, but was an American. She was raised in Cleveland, and her name's Stella Walsh. Stella Walsh won the 100 meters in the 32 Olympics and got silver in the 36 Olympics, and was murdered in a robbery in Cleveland, Ohio in the 70s. Her autopsy proved that she had no uterus, she had no urethra, female, she had a penis that was non-functional, and gonads were up inside her body. So she had an elevated testosterone. That was before they tested the elevate. So there is history there of medalists accomplishing things. But what we're at now is maybe we're at a real crossroads here where female athletes were denied an accomplishment at their state championship because male athletes that identified as female were allowed to run the sprint races at the Connecticut State Championship. And it really blew these girls' hopes, dreams, and prospects for college scholarships alive, because these boys that identified as ladies were allowed to compete. Hey, we're all in transition. This thing is not a set deal. Maybe my perhaps solution is have a women's division, a men's division, and another division. I don't think that's exactly fair, and it won't appease the powers to be, but everything is in transition.
We'll keep posted on that. I got one last question. We live in the 49th Ward in Chicago. We have a park here called Willie White Park. Tell us about the great Olympian, Willie White. You knew her. Give us a little bit of information.
Hey, Willie B. White, one of the greatest athletes in American history. 5 Olympic teams. Think about that. That's 25 years that she was the best in America. She was a great long jumper. So this Willie B. White Park really should have, let's put something out there, Kate. It should have a long jump runway and a long jump pit. If there's one thing that Willie B. White Park should have, besides the jungle gym and the football goal and all like that, it should have a long jump runway and a nice pit. It would take about 10 grand in money to make a professional long jump runway of a polyurethane surface, and then a sand pit at the end. Kids love playing in the sand. Make it a part of a real community. Inspire, make the youth inspired. Somebody's going to run down that runway and see how far they could jump. Let's go, Rogers.
I love it. Let it be heard here first that is a proposal for our local Willie White Park. I love that you put that idea out there, you and Michael. And I wish we had more time, but we have people in the waiting room, our next guests. So I love hearing, always love hearing your point of view on the Olympics. I wish we had more time. Maybe we'll do another segment on it next week, like Michael said. But thanks for chiming in with us today, Gordon Thompson.
Aloha, Chicago.
You are listening to Live from the Heartland, 88.7 FM, Chicago Sound Alliance. When we get back from this musical break with Coco Taylor, we will be welcoming Chantal, Healey, and Damon Lamarr Reed of the Public Art in Bronzeville group. Welcome to our COVID titled Heartland at Home, which is normally live from the Heartland. We really appreciate you making time for us today. Welcome Chantal Healey and Damon Lamarr Reed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you.
So part of why Lynn Orman Weiss, our music person, our music producer, suggested that we have you is, of course, the incredible event happening tomorrow, Sunday, June 27th, The new blues mural, I think it's titled Blues Travels Fast,
Yes, yes.
will be unveiled. And so let's talk about the mural and how it came to be. Maybe start with Chantal.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. We're really excited about the unveiling of the blues mural and celebrating the blues in Bronzeville, which is the birthplace of Chicago blues and really the historic cradle of blues in Chicago and in the country. And it's especially meaningful because the Chicago Public Art Group, we started the first, we were part of the first mural called the Wall of Respect, which was in Bronzeville, which was created in 1967 by our co-founder, William Walker, and the Obasi, a group of primarily African-Americans that wanted to create a wall that highlighted 50 African-American celebrities. And it then started the mural movement across the country and the national mural movement. And we became the Chicago Mural Group and then the Chicago Public Art Group. So to have a blues mural in the birthplace of the mural movement and in the birthplace of Chicago blues is very exciting for us. And it's very meaningful to help in the revitalization of Bronzeville, which is the goal of the Bronzeville Blues Collaborative. And they've been working so hard on this. So we are really excited.
Let me ask Damon, how did you decide which of the many great Chicago blues artists to include on the wall in your mural?
We actually had a community meeting, and it was, some members of the blues community. There was also an organization in Bronzeville that we're working with. They're also working on the Muddy Waters Museum. And we had a mix of, some younger people and some more seasoned people. And
I like that, more seasons.
yeah,
That's a good one.
well, I like to say I'm 43 years young, so.
Well,
But,
and you are.
you are young.
But we kind of had like a conversation, and we did do some things, like we sent out a survey and had some people answer that. But the conversation was really good, especially a person like me who I'm not just putting blues in the headphones, on a daily basis. I just know from kind of, either like maybe movies or, just more like what's kind of around. So they were kind of able to, just break down a lot of different history, talking about some of the people who were really important to the Chicago blues history. And then we kind of came out from that, and we didn't just want to show the history, because there's a lot of younger people walking around and they may look at the wall and say, okay, I don't know who that is, so I don't really connect with it.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to show the evolution, which is why it's called Blues Travels Fast. And it shows Muddy Waters, he's at the guitar, but his guitar actually, it turns into a train. So, and it kind of turns into the Green Line train, which is like, in that neighborhood. And the train is that just symbol of that movement. So, and we included Buddy Guy, we included Coco Taylor, Willie Smith, Mary Lane, and then for the kind of present day, Chance the Rapper and No Name.
Very good.
Yeah.
Can I just ask Chantal, this was not the first blues mural in the neighborhood, right?
No. In fact, we were
Can you share
originally,
the fate of the earlier one? Sorry for interrupting.
there was a blues mural in Bronzeville. And in fact, we were hired by the Bronzeville Blues Collaborative to restore it, which Damon was going to do. And then the riots happened last year, and I think it was inadvertently, it burned down. It was faded, so it wasn't as if, we don't think it was deliberate, because you couldn't really see it. And it burned down, and so we had to start from scratch and create a new blues mural. mean, we have some other murals from CPAG in Bronzeville that highlight some blues figures, like the Time Tea Night by Mitchell Catan. But the main blues mural did burn down, so this is nice to have a new blues mural to commemorate the blues in Bronzeville and in Chicago. So.
Yeah.
Lynn,
Damon,
go ahead, Damon. What were you
Yeah.
going to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, when she says the main blues mural, which, you know, some people may not know, she's talking about the mural from the actual Blues Brothers movie.
Oh,
And they kind of did like a whole dance sequence and everything in front of it. So and so that's that mural that she's referring to.
good. Yeah, that
It's
I
on
remember that.
47th and Prairie, I think. It was on 47th and Prairie.
Right.
Damon, you are an expert or an authority really on mural restoration. How about sharing a restoration project that you and a fellow named Bernard Williams will be working on soon? My understanding it's of the history of the packing house worker, and I know that was a good progressive union going way back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm really excited. Now, and Bernard Williams, he's actually, right after I graduated college, I assisted him on my first mural project. So, you know, through this time, that was 21 years ago, he's been my mentor, and we worked on about 4 or 5 other restorations together. And he actually restored the packing house mural in 1998 before. So, you know, to get the opportunity to do this with him, you know, yeah, it's great to be able to keep that history going while moving forward.
Sorry. We're up here in Rogers Park, which is home to something called the Mile of Murals project.
Yeah.
I think, Damon, you took part in one of those at least.
Yeah, I did the first mural for the Mile of for the
one over the L station.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. It's the best.
Thanks.
It's become iconic with the neighborhood, you know.
Yeah. So I was real glad to kind of have kicked that off. I had actually did one like a block over the year before at this, if you know the place, Cocoa Beans Cafe. I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but yeah, we had did one like on a viaduct a year before there, and then, you know, the next year I got the opportunity to do that one. It was really cool. It was initially like some people in the neighborhood didn't like me coming over to Rogers Park to do the mural, but you know, if we could only do art in our neighborhood, you know, what kind of world would that be?
It'd be pretty parochial.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Let's Chantal, CPAG, Chicago Public Art Group, has been helping create public art in Chicago. How long now?
50 years.
50 years.
50 years we've been around, since 1970 when we started the Chicago Mural Group, and then we became the Chicago Public Art Group because we do more public artwork than just murals now.
And the tour that people can take of Chicago public murals would take, if they did them all, it would take a couple of weeks. I mean, we are mural heavy in this city, and people want more all the time. I saw go ahead.
No, we are. There's a lot of murals, and I think a lot, even during the pandemic, decorative murals. A lot of ours are we do community-based public art, and we try and highlight the voice of the neighborhood. Our art, a lot of it has a little bit more historical significance or touches upon a racial justice issue. So we work with the community, whether it's kids or residents, to get their input, which is what Damon did for even this blues murals when we worked with Haven Studios. And so we're a little bit different. We try and bring out a message that will resonate with the community so that they can be proud of their mural, and it can inspire them to see beauty and to have inspirational messages or historical messages.
Something about Bronzeville being, really invested in at this point in time, and particularly with this artwork and the emphasis on the blues, reminded Lynn of the notion of like the Harlem Renaissance that made Harlem jazz capital, as she would put it. Our version would be Bronzeville being the blues capital, or Chicago being the blues capital. Do you agree with that kind of outlook, or would you like it to be broader, or anything? What's your reaction?
I agree. I think that Bronzeville deserves the recognition. It's the birth home of Muddy Waters. There's just so much there. The Mojo Museum, Muddy Waters People's Music School, Haven Studios. And it is the birthplace. And just like Harlem is the birthplace of jazz, the blues, the blues did start in the South, but it moved to Chicago and it was electrified. We kind of electrified the blues and added electronic music to it. And so we urbanized, it was sort of an urban version of the blues, which sort of created this national recognition of it. And it would be nice to bring that recognition to Bronzeville and to help revitalize the community and to give them the rightful respect that they deserve.
Truly. What new projects are coming forth for both of you in the next little while?
For me, one project I'm real excited about, I do a series, it's called Still Searching, where I'm painting missing women and children that are currently, women and children that are currently missing from the Chicago area. Like tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but Saturday, we're having an event. We're painting about eight girls that have gone missing. And it's kind of like a community day at this school, Overton School.
Where is that going to happen?
I think the school is called Overton. It's on 49th in Indiana.
Okay, yeah.
That's from 10 to 1.
That's actually today when people are listening to
this.
While
they're watching.
That means that's fine.
That's just, we're having the community day. Then we're going to actually go back, finish the murals up. And then we're going to have a ribbon cutting when we install them. So, I should keep you.
Keep us informed, yes.
Well, yeah. Damon, you like Chance the Rapper, so we're going to go out with the tune Rapper's Sweet Homage to his grandma called Sunday Candy.
Yeah.
Can we just thank you both for all your good work and invite you back anytime to keep us posted on public art in our beautiful city?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
She can say in her voice, in her way, that she love me. With her eyes, with her smile, with her belt, with her hands, with her money. I am the thesis of her prayers. Her nieces and her nephews are just pieces of the layers. Only one she love as much as me is Jesus Christ and Taylor. I got a feature song singing for my grandma. You sing it too, but your grandma ain't my grandma. Mine's is handmade, pan-fried, sun-dried, southside, and beat the devil by a landslide. Praying with her hands tied, president of my fan club, Santa. Something told me I should bring my
you gotta move it slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for the whole week. I've been praying for you, you're my Sunday candy.
You gotta move
slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been waiting for you, you're my Sunday candy. Come on in this house, it's gonna rain, rain down time. It's gonna rain, you better come on in this house. It's gonna rain, rain
the candy, your peppermints is the truth. I'm pessimistic on Monday, if I had tweaked them, it's you. You look so good with the hat on, had to match with the shoes. Came in dressed in the satin, I came and sat in your pew. I come to Christmas for dinner, 50 rolls on my plate. Hella holes in my stocking, holding your pockets in place. I like my love with the budget, I like my hugs with a cent. You smell like light gas while the electricity rent. You sound like why the gospel choir got so tired. Singing this praise on a daily basis, so I gotta try.
All right, Chance, our old buddy.
Katie, fill us in on some events that are happening.
Well, the Glenwood Sunday Market is happening, as we've told you. It's still 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., but it is happening on Pratt Boulevard, just 1 block west of Sheridan Road, which has been the COVID site. I'm told that it will return to Glenwood Avenue next year, but right now it's in the parking lot and it's great. So stop by the Glenwood Sunday Market if you can. And Pride North is happening as we speak on Glenwood Avenue for Saturday and Sunday. The cost is nothing, but I understand you have to show that you are vaccinated to get on that block this weekend, which kind of is good because it gets to be a crowded event.
Coming up on June 30th, it's a fundraising deadline. It's an important one. If you're concerned about the midterm elections, and we certainly hope you are, it's a good time to donate to your favorite candidate or groups like Common Cause that protect your right to vote. Every donation is meaningful. This is a crucial time. We really have to turn out votes to protect our all kind of rights in this country. So get ready, spread the word, be ready to vote in 2022.
Just one other thing that I should have said on the previous announcement. The other thing that there are a lot of Pride activities this weekend, even though there's not a parade officially until October. There's also the Pride Bowl 7, which is the Chicago Metropolitan Sports Association's 10th annual Pride Weekend flag football contest, returning to Montrose Soccer Field, where it hosts dozens of LGBTQ teams from across the country to compete for top honors. So, and it's also fun to watch. So that Montrose, Cricket Hill, where the
nice.
We're
going to go out with I Feel the Earth Move by Carole King. But before that, Katie's going to fill you in on what we've been doing for the last 25 years.
Well, just what you know, for over 25 years, we've brought you live from the Heartland, now Heartland at Home, broadcast every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central on Chicago's WLUW 88.7 FM, streaming live from WLUW.org and archived on our channel at youtube.com/heartlandmedia. We are also back on CAN TV, channel 27. Check their lineup. We usually appear on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but that also is a little movable feast. So we want to thank our team, Luis Mejia, Gwen Brown, Lynn Orman Weiss, and our absent and invisible partners, James Porter, Tom Clark, and so many others who help us inform us on bringing you this little hour. Thank you. Please continue to do good in the world.
The world needs all the good that we do.
All power.
All power to the people.
I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down. I feel my heart start to trembling whenever you're around. Oh, baby, when I see your face. can't take